from stories up high. I died a little inside. One wish is only a kiss, a shooting star I must have missed. I watch you pull out your phone, a desert island alone. I'm here having a blast. No sass, I like the way you laugh. A wrinkle in the halftime. You paint the world just how I like, smooth as an.
So, Laney, welcome to our podcast at the barn. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. I wish I was at the barn with you guys. That sounds like a nice vibe.
Well, next time you're coming through the area, you'll have to swing through, and you've got friends here. So
Amazing. Where are you guys located at?
we're about an hour south of St. Louis.
Oh, cool. I am playing a house concert in St. Louis this summer in July, I think. Yeah, late July.
It's actually July 29th on Friday, July 29th. Grass is Greener House Concerts.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Yeah.
So you know what's up.
Yeah, we're going to be there.
Amazing. Okay, well, cool. New friends, new fans. I love it.
Yeah.
So do you have a St. Louis connection, Laney?
You would think so. Actually, I kind of do. Well, so my husband, Brian, is a huge St. Louis Cardinals fan.
Okay.
So I grew up more of an Orioles. I originally was born in Baltimore, so Cal Ripken days were pretty awesome there.
Yeah.
But I kind of lost touch with baseball because I moved down to Florida, and my folks actually weren't sports-oriented people, so kind of I lost the baseball package and my connection there. But yeah, I live in Nashville now for the past 5 years, and I believe Brian has a cousin there, has some family, so we visited, gone to Cardinals games.
Awesome.
There, and one of the closest IKEAs to Nashville is located there as well. So
I saw on your Instagram that you had, or maybe your Facebook, where you were wearing some Cardinals gear, and I was like, man, what's that about? We got to find that out because this is Cardinal country up here.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean, go Redbirds. The Redbirds. Let's do it, man.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of your older music, Laney, it would have been autoplayed on my Spotify with some more kind of singer-songwriter indie folk music, which I really love. But your newer music would probably show up autoplaying with some stuff like maybe Mac DeMarco, Blitzen Trapper, Lana Del Rey, maybe some Elliott Smith.
Ooh, thank you.
You're welcome. What inspired this new sort of exploration? Because I feel like your music's changed. I've had a couple weeks to really dig in.
Yeah, thank you. Truthfully, it's just learning is the inspiration behind it. I didn't come from a musical family, so I didn't get an actual buy an amp until like 5 or 6 years ago. And it's more just like I started recording right off the gate because once I started writing songs, I just grew so addicted to them. But I've been a fan of music for all of my life. I was a big early adapter to the Apple iPod when it first came out. I was in middle school.
Oh, sure.
And it was just like my lifeline to the universe of music because I didn't have a record collection that my parents were into. I didn't have even a CD collection. And so I just had what was on that fed to me on the radio or like VH1 or whatever. But once that happened, the world of music kind of opened up and once I started writing, it just kind of came out of me. So I've been constantly, even some of my earlier songs, like I look back from my first record that I ever did was literally just me playing live into a microphone, and I'd only been writing songs for like 7 months. Sorry. It's just really, you're seeing a full development of me, like pretty much learning how to write songs and learning how to play music at the same time. And I've been literally a musician, been writing for like, I guess 10 or 11-ish years now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're just seeing growth in real time.
Beautiful. That's a perfect segue to the next question, actually. And I'm doing a kind of informal survey of different artists because I'm curious how the music from our TV shows as children inform someone's songwriting later as an adult?
Oh, that's so cool. What a fun question. Yeah, well, as I said, during those early iPod days, one of the big shows that was on during that time was the OC, like
Yeah.
Orange County, like surfer teen drama.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You know, teens played by people in their 20s, you know. And the music, whoever was the music supervisor for that, just crushed it because it was just really cool indie folk rock. Like it was,
Mhm.
there definitely had some rock and roll on there, but it also had people like Alexi Murdoch, I believe is how I'm saying his name, but he's got an album that was like really featured on there that's so good. And then also too, like, you know, there were heavier bands like the Subways, but then they also had stuff that was a little more folky as well. So that, I mean, I think that was a huge influence on me. Like those were the songs and the music that I was really into and what I spent kind of just filling my head with. So there's that. But then also too, like growing up as well, I mean, I was super into musical theater. But old musical theater, like sort of like the Cole Porter, Gershwin, Roger and Hammerstein kind of vibes. So I got like that kind of Tin Pan Alley, and also too like lush orchestration, like things like back in the day when there were movies like Sleeping Beauty, like the old school Snow White from Disney, and how it was literally, instead of like this kind of like 3D kind of vibe, it was more just like moving paintings with just this full lush orchestration. And to me, like that just like it's so different to how we hear and live in just silence. It just totally transplants you from to another world where there's just like just an onslaught of color and just art. So I think that's, between all of that, that's kind of has influenced me as what I want to make with art.
I love that you mentioned Gershwin. I mean, you can't get any better. I mean, as far as orchestration, I love the clarinets, those like rising clarinets that are kind of signature to Gershwin.
Yes.
And just love it. So what I wanted to know from you is, are there any lines of lyrics from songs that you've heard that when you hear it, you say to yourself, like, damn, I wish I wrote that?
I feel like I have it all the time, and now I'm like blanking on it. But actually, no, I mean, yesterday I actually saw Paul McCartney in concert.
Oh,
He's
wow.
on tour. I saw him in Knoxville, like really close up. Like I almost didn't go because like last minute, or like thinking like, well, maybe we could sell these tickets, and I kind of need the money right now, you know, going on tour and stuff. And gas prices are crazy. But it was such a holy experience, and something that I really just like lived my life by lately. And he ended the concert with this is, you know, the love you take is equal to the love you make, you know, in the end.
Yeah.
And I really feel that it's one of those things that, like, I think that's the core, not to get too philosophical here, but I'm going there. It's I think the core of all religion is basically helping you kind of realize that it's great to do good things. It's important to put good stuff out there and good energy out there. And some people need it like you're a little child who's going to get in trouble if you don't. But the thing is, it's just like it's balance in the universe. Because at the end of the day, it's like you're going to be rewarded, but not necessarily from anything like physically. It's just that there's this feeling of passing the good energy back and forth can hopefully build just higher vibes for everybody, you know, a higher sense of peace and purpose in life. You know, if that's your purpose, is to give the love, it's
Spread
like
joy.
Yeah, then that's like the love that you're gonna feel inside too. And it's just another way of saying it, you know?
Beautiful answer. that leads me to my choice. I have a choice of when I hear these lyrics, I say, damn, I wish I wrote that. But are you too good to be true? Is it my twisted point of view that shapes the twinkle of your smile? Are you a friendly crocodile? Love that line, those lines.
Thank you. Yeah.
Love it, love it. And there's an infinite way that lyrics can be related to, it's Stories Up High. It's brought me so much comfort recently, and I know it's not anything to do, I know it sounds to me like it was written about love and heartbreak. But to me, I think the wonderful thing about music is that it can be related, something that's not even to do with what you wrote it about, and it's brought me a lot of comfort. My son, Elliot, he's got some health issues, and over the last 2 weeks, I've been listening to that song, and it's really made me feel a lot better, and I just really appreciate that. I want to thank you for just writing a beautiful piece of music.
Thank you. That means so much to hear, and I'm so sorry you're going through that with your son right now, Elliot.
Oh, no problem. He's actually he's named after Elliott Smith, so his name is Elliott Smith.
So cool.
Yeah, I appreciate you indulging me on that.
Oh yeah, thank you. It's so wild to be quoted back to myself. I really love the movie when Harry met Sally. I was like, no one's ever quoted me back to me before.
Well, you actually said at one time, you said, when I write, it's like I step inside of a dream. I go to this place that's somewhere between sleeping and waking, between memory and imagination. It's a place where anything can happen. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, well, it's so true. It's like, even though you said that to me, it's like, wow, it's just something that flew out. It's kind of like, I feel like with writing, it's like I can manipulate or try to control the dream, like a lucid dream or whatever, but it doesn't really work like that. It's like, it's still a dream that you could say it's like your brain on overload, just like a blast of ideas and things. Or you could say it's just like, I don't know, it's like magic, alchemy. That's how I think of anybody really. Just like watching, as I said, Paul McCartney last night. It's like all of these ideas and this beautiful music and magic. It's just it's just magic. It's like, how can anyone actually say it comes from you? Because they're all just people. Even just seeing Paul up close, he's just a person,
right.
just writing stuff, and he's had so much, heartbreak and pain in his own life and stuff. And it's just so amazing that he overcomes it all. Every night that he plays, having to revisit all those memories,
Like a conduit. I've heard people describe songwriting as feeling like they're just a conduit from somewhere else, that it just hits them and flows out. And then other people have to really hash things out. And so I think it sounds like you're describing feeling like you're just receiving the information and putting it out.
Yeah, it's like there's a practice, obviously, of it all. I mean, that's why there's songwriting classes and all this stuff. If it was just conduit stuff, we wouldn't need all that or talk about it. But there's definitely, it's like that old quote from, I think it's like a Hemingway quote, where it's like, you write drunk, edit sober. Same thing, where it's like, oh,
that happens all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, I get, exactly, a lot. But yeah, it's just like, a lot of times there'll be like a melody and an idea or something, and I'll go back and I'm like, oh man, well, I always know alliteration is a fun thing to play with in songwriting. It's just like, just think, changing it to all T's sound or something, or all S's or whatever. Things that are like, this is going to make this more colorful and fun, or going to make more sense to someone or not. But with the song Stories Up High, that was literally one of those experiences where it's like, I really just wrote that, came out of nowhere very quickly, and I didn't do any edits on it. So I do think there are things like that where it just happens and it's super spooky, and those usually tend to be one of the better songs too, that you just don't. I think that's maybe why I titled the album Stories Up High, for multiple reasons, but it's also too, it's just one of those songs that just came right out and connected to the universe, and I hope people like it. It feels kind of scary to put that out there.
Yeah.
Truthfully, sometimes, you know.
Beautiful.
And
Yeah.
I definitely think they will. And, it sounds like you you wrote this album over a number of years when even the world was kind of in a weird way.
Yeah, I actually have probably been working on this. I mean, the oldest song on the record is a story. It's a song. Sorry, story. It's a story song. A song called "Secret Weapon." And I think that was written in like 2016 or something. And then the other second oldest is "Remember," and I wrote that, I guess, in 2017, like on my manager's stairwell. I was like going, and we were trying the very first attempt to make the record. And he had a little studio set up in Pittsburgh, and me and my little band that I'd been playing with over the summer went in and tried to record some songs. And one of them was "Secret Weapon," and one of them was literally halfway written was "Remember." I'd written on banjo, and it was just the beginning verses of it. And I showed it to my bass player at the time. I was like, I think this could be a really cool song. Like, I don't know, what do you think? And it's like, okay, it's like, it's fine, It's just like, there wasn't much meat to it because it's kind of repetitive song, especially just on banjo. But it ended up when we were at Steve's place, that's my manager, it was one of our favorite songs that came off of that recording, even though we're using a different recording of it. That was one of those songs that was like, because I'd finished writing that like different section. I just had a melody and no lyrics, so I wrote all those lyrics on his stairwell there.
Oh,
and
awesome.
Yeah, it's just like super fun, That's kind of like the magic of just the whole thing. Like, why do you even follow like the Beatles and like looking back at like that Get Back documentary? It's so magical. Just see these people just like having fun and just doing something and getting to like have fun together. And it's like, it really feels like a dream to even get to. I'm not getting paid much right now. Hopefully I will later, but just to go out on the road and just with my best friends and just make stuff for it. It just seems like I think that's why people like their musicians to struggle, really, is because it really is such a dream to get to do this. It kind of feels like a scam. And so they want at least, the musicians to suffer a little bit, what I mean? Because or else it's like, that's no fair,
and you're getting ready to go out on tour with Blitzen Trapper, and you're pretty much going all north, or at least United States. And you're covering, a lot of pretty parts of our country up in the Northwest. And I know you have some shows in maybe Montana and Wyoming. So I bet that's pretty exciting for you.
Oh, yeah. No, I used, like, when I first got out of college, I toured for just, like, years, really scrappy, but, like, also, too, just trying to grow, and I had released a record, so it was a great opportunity. That's how I met, actually, Blitzen Trapper out playing, like, a ski resort in the summer out west, I think, in, like, Utah. But I kind of settled down in Tennessee here for just a few years. I think just trying to grow and save up some money. And I just knew, like, you kind of can't tour without releasing music, It's like you have to keep constantly, I think, reevaluating yourself too. Like, I wanted to grow a lot as a musician, so I'm really excited to share stuff with people, but also too, just having a recording that like represented me as a musician. Because I feel like I'd constantly be playing shows and be like, oh, like you sound so much different live. And it's like, it's even a little bit in this case now too with this record, not in the sense of like, I think I still sound, I'm the same musician for the most part, which is really cool. But just like depending on the show, like we'll rock more, or like I have some older tunes that I have written that are a little more maybe jazzier, that like, oh man, I really serve the song way more now. So it's just, I'm just excited to keep playing and keep growing, because that's my job.
So we can expect different set lists from you every night then while on this tour?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I know that kind of sounds wild, but it's the perks of writing songs and just releasing them out for at least 10 years now, that I have a wide range of music to draw from. And I really do tailor it to the vibe of each place.
That's great.
So yeah, if you have any requests,
Oh yeah,
please let us know, but let us know ahead of time.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll absolutely play some deep cuts
Yeah.
for anybody who requests them if we are given at least a day or two in advance.
And we definitely will. We're going to be seeing you Friday, July 29th at the Grass is Greener House Concerts in St. Louis, Missouri. We have Laney Jones with us. You can catch all of her info on laney-jones.com. Do I have that right, Laney?
Yeah, you did. Great job.
Okay. And her new album, Stories Up High, is available all places where music's at, right? And you got the new video out, too. Can you tell us a little bit about the video for Stories Up High?
Yeah. So I had my friend animate it. And I mean, it's really, like, to me, like, with that song, it is very, like, the lyrics themselves are very visual. Like you were saying, like, is it my twisted point of view? Are you a friendly crocodile? It's just, to me, when I was, like, writing it, I really felt like I was just, like, painting with words, an image in, like, your third eye sort of place where you see things. So I really wanted something that could just, like, take the words and turn them into physical things for people to follow me along in this dreamlike thing. And I really feel like also, too, animation itself is a place where anything can happen.
Yes.
So, yeah, to me, that was, like, the perfect sort of fit to it.
Yeah, and kudos for using the word crocodile in a song. That's great.
Thank you.
The thing I like about it is it's like this juxtaposition of, a crocodile's obviously dangerous, but it's so cute. And so it's like, I like the way you use that line, friendly crocodile. I think that's neat.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just, it's so funny. A lot of times, so I have a couple projects that I write. Like, it sounds really weird, but for what I do per se to sell out, but it's not selling out because I still have a lot of fun with it, is I have a project called Coyote. It's spelled like Koyotie. Okay. And I actually, like, write and rap on it.
Okay.
It's more like pop punk. It's not like rap, but it is kind of in the sense it's really kind of dance music, and that it sounds goofy, but it kind of pays the bills because I connect with a lot of different sort of like corporations or brands and things like that. And it's just like, it's music that's serving a purpose for advertising, and which is really cool, but I know that's my purpose with it, but I still have so much fun in the wordplay of it because I know, like, I'm not beholden to anything besides just making it sound really fun, so people will, like, that's the goal. So, like, people just want to latch on to a vibe, And so the vibe is to have a lot of fun, but I can do that in whatever creative way I want to. So it has really, I think, released this big amount of freedom lyrically for myself. When I know it's like, I think I've just, like, explored a lot. Like one of the little things that I had is, like, the song's called Get Busy, and it's like about, like, working, but I framed it in all of, like, I love horror movies. So I framed it as, like, rise up from the dead, the land of the living, no rest for the wicked, we working on the weekend, just like,
we're spitting bars now.
Yeah, so
Here, I can do a little drums for you.
But it's just like, oh man, like, you don't have to, when I write for that stuff, I create a word salad is what I like to call it, where it's like, oh man, like, these words are some, like, because, like, the base words are always going to be there, and the words that just come out, like, that don't have any color to them, it's just like building a salad. So, like, I collect a lot of, like, cool tasty veggie words, that are going to add a little zang. Like, you got, like, it got the goat cheese kind of word, like a crocodile, you're doing a little sizzle with the howdy, I don't know, you know.
And I think what you're talking about is, you know, sort of like songwriter tricks. Songwriters that have been at it for a while and doing their craft, they'll kind of come up with ways to spark, you know, the next line or the next phrase or whatever it might be.
Well, and Laney mentioned the Get Back documentary where you see them kind of just yelling out gibberish, and then they'll go back and they'll write something that sounds like the gibberish. And I think that's neat because you get the word sounds, like you get the right word sounds rather than the words, and then people can come up with their own meaning.
Yeah,
that's fun.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I think that, like, truthfully, I think that's kind of like the big difference between, I don't know, I don't want to speak for too many people, but like singer-songwriter kind of vibes sometimes versus like other band kind of music vibes is that like, or versus to like what's it when jam band kind of vibes, you know, jam bands will kind of say anything, and it's all just kind of about the melody and the jam. And then there's the complete opposite of the spectrum where it's like you're a singer songwriter and you might have started from like the words or the poetry first, and like you're trying to tell a specific story, so every word matters. But I think there's this sort of middle ground, which is really where I view myself as a writer, is that like I know what I want it to sound like. The sound really dictates everything, so I guess you could say that's kind of pop music. But it's like you can also still say something really cool and interesting, but still make it sound like the way you believe a pop song should sound in your head.
Yeah, speaking of pop writing, you actually had a class at Berkeley on pop songwriting. Is that right?
I did. I had it from the master. Her name's Cara Diaguardi. She's so much of a master. She was on American Idol for like being a judge for a little bit. But she's just super, super brilliant songwriter person. And also, too, she's really cool in the sense where she, like, lifts up a lot of young people. And she's been, like, an A&R person back in the day for, like, Universal or Sony or something big like that. But, she's crushing it. And literally that class, too, has totally saved my life as, like, a writer and musician. Because that's how I had examples that I could write, like, super poppy stuff. Was from that class, and that's the only reason why I'm able to do like that project I was telling you about, Coyote, is because I had examples from that class that I can write stuff that sounds like top 40. I just kind of you just have to work with the right people and be like, you have to want to sound like that, you know, too. It's like, I'm not going to make I guess I could venture into making that stuff on my own at home. That's not where my true artistic heart lies, but I can still do it, and it's awesome. That pays the bills. So
you did find the class to be helpful.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, totally.
That's awesome.
This record would absolutely not have been made if it wasn't for that class, because I wouldn't have had any money to go in a studio and hire like awesome musicians to help me figure it out, an amazing producer. I would not have that money. So yes, that class was probably the most helpful class I've ever had.
That's
Beautiful.
Awesome.
So you were in Rolling Stone. Only so many people, everyone dreams of being in Rolling Stone. How did that feel? Did you freak out?
Well, I mean, it's funny that is mentioned because I feel like it's not quite as cool as it sounds, because it was just like, I think it was just like their online thing that was mentioned, and like, you know, top like artists you need to know about. Like, obviously that's so cool. And I'm really pumped about it, but I do feel like it's kind of like a little like cheat code sort of thing. It's like, oh man, I really won't feel like I made it and like Rolling Stone, unless I like had some, like, it doesn't have to be the cover, but like a real feature in print.
I think if it's me, I'm printing out that online article and like framing it or something.
Yeah.
Like, Mom, I made the Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it was really cool because like I'm originally from Orlando, so I was on like the Orlando local news and got to like play a song on there. And I always thought it was really funny how on the bottom of it says, local girl featured in Rolling Stone. Now I'm like, 23 or 24, something like that. I'm like, when do I become a
girl? Yeah,
yeah.
that's crazy. So I've been wanting to ask you, when artists start to get a little press, like Rolling Stone and stuff like that, you start to get a lot of the same comparisons where people try to describe your music. What's the most flattering one that you've heard?
Oh man. Well, two of them, the most flattering is one, someone said, I've gotten John Lennon, which obviously I'm a Beatles fan. So that is freaking cool. I don't know what they're smoking to make it hear like that, but I find that super flattering. And then just the other day, like on my album release here in town in Nashville, I played and somebody was saying that our live set or just everything was like feeling kind of like Radiohead-esque.
Oh, cool.
And I was just like, what? Yeah, those to me are like some of like the biggest amazing mind-blowing things.
We were discussing before we called you, we were discussing how much we like the live versions of the songs. Like there's a version of Stories Up High. I mean, of course I like the official video, but there's a performance where y'all are just kind of sitting on the floor.
And even like your Christmas song that you put out that's on YouTube, and like Old Lang Syne, those were just so cool and intimate.
Yeah, it's cool. Like I really try it as far as like recreating like an exact thing. It's like on a record, it's like such a different animal to make a record versus play live. And I feel really fortunate that like I started out live, like from the very top. I feel like nowadays there's a lot, and it really makes more sense to like get really good at making a record at home before you go out in the world and like present stuff to people. I've kind of done it the opposite, where I just like went out and presented myself to people by like playing at coffee houses, open mics and things, and then just touring around, at wherever that I've sort of. And too, like I also did theater growing up. Like I lived at my local community theater like for 8 years probably. So yeah, I feel like I'm learning how to becoming a recording musician. Is kind of like why, like, I'm really pretty pleased with this record, because but it took me a little while to get there, because I've always been more focused on I think the live performance, and there's a different translation of just like, because like with live performance, there's all these little things. You're part of a moving thing already. Like there's air, and there's little things that cover the sound, like whether it's like a hum of an amp or what have you. And so when you make your own record, it's like you're painting this whole world from like silence. And so it's like I've kind of learned how, like, there's a couple songs on this record that I produced just myself. They were One Fine Morning and Long Way. And on both of those tracks, I kind of added stuff, whether it was just like bird sounds or just like a pad of a keyboard sort of thing, and adding just like stuff like that to like really paint a world, versus like when you're playing live, it's like you're just adding on top of this world. You know what I mean?
Great. Yeah, exactly. And so a lot of artists, they describe the process of writing a song or especially an album as almost like raising a child. They get to be an adult, and then you release them out into the world and they do what they do. And I find that description pretty fascinating, because once you put a song out there, it's like it's everyone else's. Do you find that process nerve-wracking, or do you enjoy it?
Well, I haven't done it in a bit, so I guess I don't know. Well, I guess before, with all my past records, I sort of was like forced to release them through like outside forces of just like oh, I recorded this stuff, and like my dad being like, if you don't put it out there or make your art for it, I'm just gonna press it to CD and it won't have any artwork and whatever. And I love that go-getter attitude of my dad. Like, I'm so appreciative of that. But now, so with this past record, I'd been kind of like been with it for so much longer than the other ones, because the other ones I just go in the studio for like a week or two and just whatever came out, and I didn't really feel like my own stamp of art, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But this one was very much like, I would say, I worked with an amazing producer, Andrea Tokic, of the Bomb Shelter, but also too, like, I really made it myself as well, just in the sense of how long I sat with it and like knowing it wasn't right in its first iteration. And I feel so much more ownership of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I think it's just more like, yeah, getting the chance to fully like raise your kids, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And just having a full digestive memory of everything that happened, I felt like it meant so much more to me in that sense. And why, like, too, like, there's dreams I have of even getting to do, you know, this record with actual like set pieces, like on a stage, that like I can really see everything now, versus in the past I think I had those dreams of things, but the reality of it was so far away from where that I was capable of making those things happen, that the reality of those dreams keep coming closer, because I've been working so long at it, sticking with it, that to me, I think it's that much more exciting to put myself out there. So I think now I am absolutely, I think, love the pain of making something and putting it out there, because I just think because I'm so much more closer to being capable of making those dreams happen or making them become a reality.
Well, we've been spinning Stories Up High, your new album, Laney Jones's new album, nonstop, and we're going to continue to. You can find all of her information at laney-jones.com. Stories Up High is available everywhere music is, and you also have a vinyl pressing as well, right? A limited edition?
Yeah, no, I just got them in like literally like 2 days ago.
How cool is that?
Yeah, I'm
neat.
super psyched. I designed all of it myself, and it comes with a lyric insert this time. All my lyrics are handwritten, and yeah, super pumped. So thank you so much for being supporters, y'all, and having me on here. Thank you for just listening to me ramble on, but also listening to me on the record. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
It's a pleasure, and we sincerely hope that you stop by when you're in the area and have a look at our place and maybe do an in-person interview.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, sounds great. Yeah, I'm definitely down. So let's be in touch, y'all. You know how to reach me.
Great.
And this is Laney Jones. We're going to be seeing her July 29th, Friday, July 29th at Grass is Greener House Concerts in St. Louis, Missouri. Want to do a real quick shout out to Josh Zanger from All Eyes Media. He's the one that put us in connection. So thank you, Josh. And go to laney-jones.com and get all her information there and all of her music. Laney, we appreciate it.
Thank y'all. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks so much, Laney. See you soon.
All right. Bye.
I fell from stories up high. I died a little inside. One wish is only a kiss, a shooting star I must have missed. I watch you pull out your phone, a desert island alone. I'm here having a blast. No sass, I like the way you laugh. Vertical in the halftime, you paint the world just how I like. Smooth as an ocean on a screen. Right next to you is where I want smile? Are you a friendly crocodile? Or is it ever worth the pain or for the heartache and shame? Do I go touching myself and try to love somebody I fell from stories so high. I died a little inside. But if I had a crystal